The Mayor and City Council welcome you to the Peoria City Council meeting. As a courtesy to others, please silence all phones. If you would like to address an issue that is on the agenda, or if you would like to speak to the council regarding a non-agenda item, please complete a speaker request form which can be found in the front lobby of the Peoria City Council chambers or in the tray to the left of the speaker's podium. Please place the completed speaker request form in the second tray to the left of the speaker's podium labeled Request to Speak. All speakers will have 3 minutes to complete their comments. A countdown clock is easily visible on the left side of the wall behind the City Council dais. Only items listed on the agenda may be addressed by the Council. Since items presented as part of the speaker request have not been listed on the agenda, and due to the requirements of the open meeting laws, the Council will be unable to respond to items presented as part of the speaker's request. However, please be aware that your comments will be noted. The speaker's name will be called to speak at the appropriate time in the order that the forms were received. Thank you for your interest and participation in the Peoria City Council meeting.
The Peoria City Council meeting will now come to order. Please rise for a moment of quiet reflection and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Patena.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Carlett.
Here.
Vice Mayor Binsbacher.
Here.
Councilmember Patena.
Here.
Councilmember Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Finn.
Here.
Councilmember Hunt.
Here.
Councilmember Leone.
Here.
Council Liaison Bowden.
Here.
And Council Liaison Camacho.
Here.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Peoria City Council meeting of January 19th, 2016. The first item on the agenda this evening is a presentation. Recognition of outgoing Public Works Utilities Director Bill Mattingly. And I'm going to turn it over to our City Manager, Carl Swenson.
Thank you, Mayor Carlett. And yes, it's true, Bill is retiring. I tried to see if I could convince him not to do that. We all love Bill. He's been a great leader in the organization, but you know, it's true. He's going to retire and spend some additional time with his family, and who can blame him for that? Bill, do you want to come up? And I'll try not to embarrass you too much here. I promised I wouldn't. But Bill, of course, as the council well knows, and anyone who's worked with the city, is just one of the outstanding leaders that the city of Peoria has. I mean, Bill exemplifies all of the best in public service. He's an outstanding leader of people. He believes in citizen service and a high degree of customer service, and is just an outstanding ethical leader. And it's been my privilege and pleasure to work with you for almost 10 years. You have led through some challenging times. I'm going to say a few things, and then you can have an opportunity to say a few things as well. So Bill has had a 22-year career with the city of Peoria, and he's known for his outstanding ethical leadership and unwavering professionalism. He's a steady leader throughout the organization, both a formal leader and informal leader. He's been instrumental in creating the Public Works and Utilities Department. Some of you will remember in the height of the economic downturn, we were looking for ways of cutting costs without reducing services. And one of the key ways that we were able to do that was merging two departments, our Public Works Department and our Utilities Department, together. And Bill had the experience and leadership skills to do that, and it was a real important way for us to reduce our overhead and administrative costs while not negatively impacting service at all. That was a huge leadership step that I really appreciated. You've also been extremely instrumental in our water supply, creating an assured water supply for the long-term health of the city and the growth that we know is coming over the decades ahead. We have that assured water supply in large measure because of your leadership, Bill. Similarly, in the wastewater arena, our Butler plant, as you know, is a state-of-the-art plant in wastewater treatment and management. Bill oversaw the design, construction, implementation of that plant, and it's state-of-the-art and serves our wastewater utility ratepayers very well, not just now, but into the future. Bill helped through his leadership in the Public Works Department, but also in the organization in our sustainability effort. As you know, we have a number of staff. Lisa Estrada is sort of the face of our sustainability program, but a lot of our sustainability efforts are in the public works arena. Energy reduction has been a big part of how we've met our sustainability goals, and those are in Bill's area. Also in the downturn, one of the key areas that we had was what we called our Fleet Solutions Group. And we reduced the cost of our fleet significantly, and Bill was a big part of that effort as well. And who can forget, I know Mayor Carlett, you certainly don't, the implementation of curbside recycling. That was very important to you, Mayor, and Bill was the person who oversaw the implementation of that system, and recently oversaw the switch to the two-can program as we look for efficiencies in service delivery in that arena as well. I mentioned Bill's service ethic. He's a model for customer service throughout the organization, and his department really leads the way in that. Outside of the city, he's been a leader as well. He's been most recently the state chapter president of the American Public Works Association, and has also been the chairman of the management board of the Arizona Municipal Water Users Association. And Bill, I could go on and on with the different leadership moves that you've made or steps that you've taken that have positioned Peoria so well in the public works and utilities arena. Thank you again for everything.
Thank you. I'm going to be very brief. I'm honored, I'm privileged, and I'm proud. I'm honored to work with this council and previous councils and the citizens of Peoria. Privileged to work with this leadership team, and proud of those folks that I work with every day in the department. So thank you all.
Okay, as much as we don't want to, we're going to move on. The next item on the agenda this evening is the consent agenda. Council, are there any items that you would like to have removed from consent? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as it stands.
Thank you. Do I have a second? All right, council, please vote. Consent agenda passes unanimously. We will now move on to new business. 17R, Memorandum of Understanding, Peoria Police Officers Association. Mr. Swenson?
Yes, Mayor Carlett and council members. This, of course, is the important memorandum of understanding that governs our working relationship with one of our most important employee partnership groups, and that is our Peoria Police Officers Association. The presentation of the agreement will be made by Laura Krause, our Human Resources Director, and supported by Don Prince, who is now in the City Manager's office, but was the lead negotiator for this agreement out of Human Resources. Laura?
For your consideration, the proposed memorandum of understanding with the Peoria Police Officers Association. First, give you a little bit of background. City of Peoria has had a long-standing collaborative history with PPOA and values their role in the past, present, and future success of the city. We take great pride in our employees, and we're committed to providing a competitive compensation and benefits package. During this process, we utilized the new meet and confer process. We used an interest-based approach for a win-win outcome. Communication and collaboration at the table were very professional and productive, and we are very appreciative of PPOA's contributions. Wanted to acknowledge those negotiators. With PPOA, we have Mark Newman, Norman Bacon, David Adams, and David Lebo. And I know that Mark Newman, who is the president of PPOA, is in the audience this evening, as well as Norman Bacon, the vice president of PPOA. And on the city side, we had Don Prince and Christine Nickel from HR. To summarize the negotiations process, we started with a market wage study in spring and summer of 2015. We collaborated with PPOA on survey requests, and we opened negotiations on October 29th and concluded on December 15th of 2015. At the December 15th, 2015 meeting, agreement was reached, and we were notified on January 12th that PPOA, their membership ratified the proposed contract. Briefly, what's included in the Memorandum of Understanding, the term is 2 years, beginning July of 2016 and ending in June of 2018. In year one, it includes a 2% market adjustment to the police officer salary range. It also includes a one-step merit increase for those eligible on their anniversary date. And then in year two, they also receive a one-step merit increase for those eligible on their anniversary date. Additionally, it includes an increase in the uniform allowance to $1,200 per year, and an increase in the shift differential in year two of the contract to 50 cents per hour for the second shift and 65 cents per hour for the third shift. And I'm available, as well as Don, to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. And if Mark Newman and Norman Bacon would like to come down and say a few words, we welcome that.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
Mark Newman is the PPOA president, and Norman Bacon is the PPOA vice president.
On behalf of PPOA, we thank you for the opportunity to come speak tonight briefly. We wanted to congratulate and recognize the hard work at the table from both the city and association negotiation teams. Trying to craft an MOU can be a very stressful process, requires much patience and creativity. We think both teams exhibited those qualities during the process, and we're looking forward past negotiations toward continuing a team together to make sure we recruit and retain the high-quality professional officers our city deserves, as well as try to create solutions to the growth we're gaining to experience. Also, the census I saw was growing too, so we look forward to working with you to address that growth.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate the collaboration. It has been very healthy, and we're glad that it's over for another 2 years. I'm sure you are too. Council, do you have any questions or comments? Councilmember Patena?
Thank you, Mayor. I guess I'll direct this question to Don. Don, I know we have this win-win thing going on, and I'm curious to know, what was it like at the table? Was there a spirit of cooperation? And I'm assuming, since this is going to be ratified tonight, that the police officers are happy with this contract. Would you agree with that?
I would say that there was definitely a spirit of collaboration at the table. I think that the agreement that we came to is a good agreement, and the group clearly felt that it was something that they could get their officers behind, and so I think it was a win-win for both sides.
Thank you. Anything else? Yes, Vice Mayor?
I just want to thank all of you for your leadership, the leadership that you've demonstrated, and bringing this to a conclusion so we can move forward and continue to do great work as our police department has been doing for a long time. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. And it passes unanimously. Thank you and congratulations. All right, we are now moving on to item 18R, and we are going to hear item 18R and 19R together. We will have one presentation for both items, and then we will vote on them separately.
Chris Hawkes, our Planning Community Development Director, will make the presentations on these items.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Items 18 and 19R are a proposed general plan amendment and a rezone for a proposed independent living facility to be located at the southeast corner of 81st Avenue in Beardsley. The applicant is Earl Curling Lagarde. They're representing Resort Lifestyle Communities. Resort Lifestyle Communities builds retirement communities across the country. In the Phoenix submarket, this will be their second planned facility, the other one being at a planned location in Gilbert, I believe. As I mentioned, there are two items for consideration tonight. The first one is 18R. This is a minor general plan amendment seeking to redesignate a portion of the property from high-density residential to medium-high-density residential. And then the second item, 19R, to rezone the property from general agricultural to a planned area development specific to an independent living facility. First, a little bit about the context. If I can direct your attention to the screen, to the graphic. The site identified in red is the site in question. It is a approximately 14.9 acres in size. It's a triangular infill site. It abuts the New River corridor. A portion of the site is actually located within the river bottom. So about 10.6 acres are what we'll consider buildable and are generally delineated to be, you can kind of make out the trail along the river on the screen. So the buildable, of course, is beyond the trail corridor. In context, to the west is 81st Avenue. 81st Avenue is a collector that winds around and to 83rd Avenue to a signalized intersection. Land uses to the west of the site include two apartment complexes, Tuscany Ridge to the southern portion, Sonoma Ridge at Beardsley Road, and then sandwiched between those is the Fletcher Heights single-family residential community. And then north of Beardsley Road is both Fletcher Heights single-family communities. So a little bit about the development plan. The applicant is proposing a heavily amenitized independent living facility. Let me read some of the amenities. It sounds like a resort community, but some of the amenities all contained within the building include things like a bistro, coffee shop, bank, stadium theater, spa, hair salon, fitness center, library, and I'm sure other amenities I haven't covered here. They're also going to provide shuttle service to their residents to locations off-site. It's going to be staffed 24 hours a day, and the staffing includes a concierge service, chefs, valet parking attendants, and lifestyle staff and others. So you can see the building footprint on the screen. It's an S-shaped building footprint. What's proposed is one 3-story building, the building being about 180,000 square feet in size. The middle of the building is about 51 feet at height, and then the wings to the north and south of the middle are about 45 feet. The entry into the site will be solely from 81st Avenue to the west. There will also be a second site only for emergency access only to Beardsley Road, but otherwise there's no public access to Beardsley Road. The access point on the west side of 81st has been separated, if you will, a little bit from the single-family community to the west, so that there isn't traffic issues there, to try to address some of those considerations. The screen identifies the general plan land use designation, or what is aspired for the site. So again, what is proposed here is to redesignate a portion of the site, or at least the site that's buildable. Under the orange color is the brown color, which is high-density residential. This provides for a density of 15 plus units per acre. It's typified by multi-story apartments or condos in the area. What's proposed is to reduce the designation slightly downward from high-density residential to a medium high-density residential category. This is an intermediate category, 8 to 15 units per acre. What's the target density being 12 units per acre, and what's typified in that land use designation are things like attached single-family and multifamily uses. The project, again, is proposing 130 living units that calculates out to a density of about 8.72 units per acre. So as you can see, that falls within the range of that category, or at least within the lower end of the density range. We believe, based on the land uses in the area, its position close to Loop 101 and some of the commercial uses rather to the east, that it provides good transition, particularly with the apartments in the area and some of the single-family land uses. This graphic on the screen provides for the existing zoning in the area. All the properties around the site are all zoned as part of Fletcher Heights PAD, Planned Area Development. That was a master plan community that was approved by council in 1993. It's a large community. It includes, multiple parcels. As you would expect, the apartment parcels are zoned for multifamily. That's underlying zoning, and single family for the single family parcels. The site in question is actually zoned general agricultural. And general agricultural is what we consider, there are some areas in the city where there's agricultural activities going on, but generally it's what we consider a holding district. And what that means is that it's a district whereby it's held in a holding for less intensive land uses until it's appropriate, until the time comes where it's appropriate to develop it. So it's currently zoned general agricultural in the area. What's being proposed tonight is a planned area development. A planned area development, they're all different, but what it is basically a type of zoning district that allows for discretionary standards, tailored standards that fit not only the project, but the context in the area. And so that's what we have here today. This PAD is based on our city's RM1. RM1 is our multifamily district. It's based on that. But it does provide for enhanced building setbacks or setbacks greater than what we require for typical apartment complexes. And it also includes modifications to parking standards, but basically reflecting the type of facility that is planned and proposed for this location. As you know, part of our zoning process also includes a traffic impact analysis that was done on this site as well and accepted by our engineering department. Some of the headlines from that is that a development like this is a low traffic generator. There would only be 262 average daily trips that would be generated by the development. And therefore, based on the level of services that's already provided on the surrounding street network and that's anticipated with this project, there'd be a limited impact on the street system around it. As you know, our general plan applications and rezoning applications go through a citizen participation process. We provide several intervals in the process notification. In this case, it would go to 600-foot radius and all registered HOAs within a mile. A neighborhood meeting was held on June 10th, 2015 at Sunrise Mountain Library. There were 6 neighboring residents that attended the meeting. Some of the comments and concerns that were noted, some were inquiries. They asked about how many residents. The answer was between 130 and 260 residents on site. Some asked about state safety, and again, this is going to be fully staffed 24 hours a day. There was some concerns with traffic, particularly with the driveway alignment with the single-family community to the west, and so that was one of the changes that was made during the process, is that driveway access for the complex was going to be moved to the north, so it's an offset alignment there. Noise generation was some questions that were asked, and as I indicated, all the activities would take place within the building. The height of the building, there were some inquiries about that, and then there were some questions about whether the building could be moved east. And as you saw, it's a very difficult property to develop based on its triangular nature. And I think with some of the physical constraints, the applicant was not able to look to move in the building. But as I mentioned, the setbacks for the building is still greatly over what we would allow, the minimum for multifamily. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on December 3rd. They voted 5-0 to recommend approval on both cases to the council. At the hearing, there were no speakers in support or opposition that night. However, we did receive one letter of opposition, I think 1 or 2 days prior to the P&Z Commission hearing, and we got one during the hearing. So the 2 letters are included in your staff packet. And just to maybe summarize the nature of some of the concerns, one of the letters preferred that the site develop as a park or perhaps a parking lot for commuters. The other cited a number of issues, concerns with the project creating construction noise and inconveniences in the area. There was the perceived loss of agricultural land. There was concerns about the loss of views from their vantage point, and then concerns about traffic and height of the structure. I guess that's related to loss of view, but that concern as well. I'm not going to read you all the key staff findings that are in your packet, but based on the staff findings that we believe the proposal provides for a nice infill project. It's appropriately scaled for the area, and we will not unduly burden public facilities or the neighborhoods. We believe the reduction in land use that's proposed is appropriate for the area and aligns with the project, and that the standards that are contained in the PAD promote compatibility within the area. So for these reasons, staff recommends that the council support the Planning and Zoning Commission findings and approve the item number 1, or 18R rather, a minor general plan amendment to redesignate 10.6 acres from high-density residential to medium-high-density residential, and then the companion rezone case, which is 19R, from general agricultural to a PAD subject to conditions 1 through 22. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions, comments? Yes, Councilmember Edwards.
Thank you, Mayor. Chris, you were, in one of your first slides, you were talking about the amenities within the facility. Now, those amenities would be the sole use of the residents within that community, because you were talking about a bank and a beauty salon and stuff like those. Those would be completely on-site and not available for non-residents to take advantage of those. Is that correct?
Mayor Carlott, members of the council, that is my understanding. That's correct.
Okay. And then you had mentioned that this is going, it's zoned currently for high density. So give me an idea of what we could see there if we left it alone and didn't approve this. What could we see? Could we see a high-rise apartment complex or apartment complex comparable to what's currently across the street from that?
Mayor Carlott, members of the council, you certainly could. Just to kind of give you a frame of reference, the 2 apartment complexes that I noted, the one on the northern end of it has a density of about 13 units per acre. The one on the southern end is about 16 units per acre. This category allows, as I mentioned, over 15 units per acre, but one could conceivably go up to 18 units per acre. Now, that's all going to be, you know, how intense that site can develop is all going to be informed by the size and shape of the property and how much you can park too as well. But conceivably, it could align with the apartment communities you already see to the west.
And you had mentioned also that one or several residents had mentioned something about wanting it to be a park and ride. Is that correct? My understanding is that the city of Glendale is currently working on a park and ride, which is just right down the street on 81st, or maybe it's not even on 81st, but it's conducive to the freeway. So there'll be a park and ride within less than half a block from this parcel. Is that correct?
Councilmember Edwards, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? All right, with that, we are going to vote on these separately, and these are both public hearings. So I'm going to take 18R first. Minor General Plan Amendment, Resort Lifestyle Communities, 81st Avenue and Beardsley Road. I am going to declare this public hearing open. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address this issue? All right, seeing no comments, I'm declaring the public hearing closed. Is there a motion on item 18R?
Mayor,
Yes.
I move that we redesignate 10.6 acres from high-density residential to medium-high-density residential.
Thank you. Do I have a second? I'll second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. (18R) passes unanimously. Thank you. And now we'll move on, do the same thing for 19R. This is also a public hearing, rezoning Resort Lifestyle Communities, 81st Avenue and Beardsley Road. I declare this public hearing open. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to speak to this public hearing? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Council, do I have a motion? And a second? All right, We have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. And 19R passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And now we will move on to call to the public for non-agenda items. If you wish to address the City Council, please complete a speaker request form. Seeing none, I have no speaker request forms this evening. So we will move on to reports from City Manager. Mr. Swenson.
Thank you, Mayor Carlett. I have two brief reports, and they'll both be made by John Sefton. The first is about an upcoming Park Fest event at Park Ridge.
Thank you, Carl. Good evening, Mayor and Council. And yes, it's time for another of our now world-famous Park Fest events. Community services, neighborhood resources, and public safety are all set to engage Peoria neighborhoods with free, fun, entertaining, and informative activities. Peoria's Park Fest events are designed to connect the city services with the community in unique and creative and festival atmospheres. Park Fest at Park Ridge Park, 9734 West Beardsley Road, will be held on Saturday, January 30th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This event will feature interactive inflatables, games, live music, face painting, a bike rodeo sponsored by the Peoria Police Department, and a carnival atmosphere. It will feature live music and interactive music activities from the Music Bus. You're not going to want to miss the Music Bus. As with all our Park Fest events, the food and drinks will be provided while supplies last. That's Park Fest, Park Ridge Park, 9734 West Beardsley Road, Saturday, January 30th from 11 to 2 p.m., 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the next item.
Yeah, and I'll do a little introduction before you tee this up, John. And this is a brief presentation I asked John to make on our Martin Luther King Day celebration and recognition that we had this past Thursday. The council and staff know that each year for a number of years we've had a recognition of this important day and remembrance of Dr. King's legacy. In some of the past years, we've done it in partnership with other groups, and recently have concluded that we thought that we could probably do a more poignant and more significant event if we did it ourselves. As you know, John and his department, along with the Diversity Committee, has developed quite a lot of capacity in terms of events and a lot of creativity. So they put on the event this year, this past Thursday, and it was truly outstanding, I think. Mayor Carlett gave a very good introductory statement and comments and address to the group, but the speaker that we had was just very, very powerful. John, I know there's a video of it that you're going to show, but I really wanted to recognize Kelly Kincaid, particularly for her work in putting it together and her leadership. It was a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson, and indeed, you said all the words I had written down, and thank you very much.
Sorry.
But I'm going to run through them. We have put this little presentation together, and the City of Peoria, in partnership with the Citywide Diversity Committee and our Community Services Department, hosted the first ever city-sponsored celebration honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his vision, and his actions. Participants included over 400 students from PUSD and over 100 community members from the neighboring areas. The event began with a unity walk, recognizing the importance of coming together as a community. The walk's destination was our City Hall campus, traversing the Decades Walk and ending in our amphitheater. There, the opening remarks were provided by Police Chief Roy Minter, representing the City of Peoria Diversity Committee. Mr. Don Harris, President of the Maricopa County chapter of the NAACP, encouraged the crowd with his wisdom and humor. And Mayor Carlett eloquently signified the importance of Dr. King's vision and served to introduce our keynote speaker, Ms. Linda Blackman Lowry. Ms. Lowry's words were indeed inspiring, heartfelt, uplifting, and contained several specific calls to action. And finally, the Decades Walk will receive a new brick installed memorializing the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And now we'd like to share a short video that truly captures the excitement and the importance of the Unity Walk and its celebration. So anytime there. As well, we'd like to recognize the work and talents of Jeff Dykusen. He was the videographer with YourWestValley.com, which is the website for the Daily Sun News and Peoria Today's
This is an
newspaper.
event put on by the City of Peoria Diversity Committee to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. I think it shows the dedication that the city has for Dr. Martin Luther King's vision. Okay? We are a diverse community. We want to celebrate that. We want to include everybody that's in our community. We're having the kids come down, and we want to impart that sense of community in those school kids.
This is an important event because it shows me unity. And I see all different race, creeds, and colors, you know, joining together. My name is Linda Blackman Lowry. I was born and raised in Selma, Alabama. Selma is known for its part in the voting rights movement, and the people and the children of Selma is known for their part in getting the Voting Rights Act passed in 1965. I was jailed 9 times between January 2nd and March 7th of 1965. That's what it took. It took us marching day after day after day. On March 7th, 1965, a day which is known infamously as Bloody Sunday in Selma, I was beaten on that bridge at the age of 14. I still carry the scars from that physical beating. I received 7 stitches over my right eye, 28 stitches in the back of my head. I still have a knot back there now. That's my knot of knowledge. This beating did not stop me. This beating, in fact, encouraged me to do more and go further. Dr. King said you could get anyone to do anything with steady, loving confrontation. Okay, I heard what he said, and at 13 I was going, But the second time he said it, looked like he said, Linda Blackman, you can get anyone to do anything with steady, loving confrontation. Because it hit me and I said, oh yeah, that's how I'm gonna make change. You know, and excited.
With several renditions of her book stuck around for signing. It's an interesting read and a perspective on what she went through as a 15-year-old on that road to Selma. And we have them available in our library. We have a number of them here for you as well. So we want to thank you for supporting yet another of these unique activities through our municipality and the things that we do in Peoria to make life great. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, John. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. I would just like to thank everyone in your department, Kelly, you, and our diversity committee. It was really such a joy to have Ms. Blackman Lowry here. Her story was heartfelt and touching, and she was just so refreshing to listen to. You know, I think we were all changed after listening to her story. She made such a big difference, and it was really great to have her here in our city. So thank you. That's it. All right. We will now move on to reports from City Council. Youth Council Liaison Bowden.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have much to report tonight. I would just like to comment briefly about the developments in fire, medical, and police that I've seen in my time on the council, some of the things culminating even tonight. It's exciting to see firsthand the progress in Peoria, and I am continually amazed at the commitment by city staff and council and Mayor Carlett to the residents of Peoria and their standard of living. And that's also seen in the MLK walk. That video was very touching. And that's what will continue to make Peoria stand out, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So thank you.
Thank you for those words. Councilmember Patena.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to say my sincere thank you to Bill Mattingly for your years of service to the city of Peoria. I knew you both as a city employee and as a council person, and you were always the consummate professional. The city of Peoria was certainly a better place having you work here, and 22 years is a long time to give to the city, so thank you very much. I also want to recognize Walt Begley, who spent 26 years with the city, who's also going to be retiring February 1st, and these are two top-notch employees. I wish we had the opportunity to vote up here whether or not you could retire, because I would vote no. But I don't have that opportunity, so good luck to you and good luck to Walt. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Councilmember Edwards.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week on Monday the 11th, I had the distinct honor of accompanying you and the Vice Mayor to the Governor's State Address, and I just want to thank you for the invitation. It was an inspiring conference, and got to meet and talk to a lot of great people, so I thank you for that opportunity. The following day, I was at the Ventana Lakes Yacht Club, and we had a public meeting about our Beardsley Channel rehabilitation project, and that's something that's been in the works for so many years. And I just want to thank Marilyn McCord for getting the word out to the residents within Ventana Lakes. We had a great turnout. I believe there's about 60 residents. They came out and showed their support one way or the other. Ultimately, they all wanted the same result, and that's to cover the drainage ditch. So we will be finally covering that drainage ditch. So the residents of Ventana Lakes, you're going to get a nice sidewalk on top of that. So again, thank you for coming out and voicing your concerns, and they didn't land on deaf ears. We were going to move forward with that project. And as John Sefton mentioned, I was at the Unity Walk, and it was just, words can't describe it. It was definitely awe-inspiring. I took that book home and I read it that afternoon, and her adventure was just something to withhold. And I thank her for coming out and sharing her experiences with the residents of Peoria. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Binsbacher.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, the State of the State address was a fantastic experience. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I also attended the Unity Walk and celebration and was fortunate enough to see that presentation, and it was unbelievable. And it was just a proud morning for Peoria to have launched an event like that. Everyone did a fantastic job, and it just screamed that Peoria is about our people, our citizens, and about the people. And I believe we are living that change. I really do. And that, along with just everything we're doing to serve our citizens, it felt great. So, Mr. Mattingly, it's been a short time that I've gotten to work with you. I would vote no too, actually. I would. Your leadership, early on, I could see how critical a role you played to the success of this city. So best of luck to you. And you are truly a professional and a gentleman, and you will be missed. Thank you.
Councilmember Finn.
I'll keep it very brief. Bill, congratulations. Enjoy your retirement. Hope you have something really fun planned. I have a feeling you might get a little bit bored, so find something that keeps you busy. Very busy guy. Did great work for the city, and we can't thank you enough for everything you did. So, but just enjoy that retirement. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Well, Bill, I'm sure if you get bored, we can find a place here for you to volunteer. I, too, will miss you terribly. I've served a long time with you, and you're such a gentleman and just so committed to the residents of Peoria. Countless times you've gone to folks' homes, which is way above and beyond your job description, but you've gone there to talk to them and maybe settle them down a little bit as to their concerns, and I think that face-to-face interaction is something we go for, and certainly we appreciate it in staff. So just thank you on so many different levels for all you've contributed to the city of Peoria and its residents over the years. You will certainly be missed. I too walked last Thursday, and while we did not face the kinds of walk that they had in Selma or all those years ago, there was certainly a feeling of unity, being there shoulder to shoulder with other people that were walking in commemoration of those who walked before and who laid the pathway for freedom for so many Americans. And John, to you and your staff who conceived this and carried it out, it's amazing, and I certainly hope that we repeat it for many years to come. I think we've got the answer here to how we want to celebrate. I had the privilege this morning to welcome back to Peoria an old friend here in our community, especially in the Acacia District, and that is the Community Action Program, sponsored by Maricopa County. About 3 years ago, during the downturn, during the recession, for economic reasons, they had to consolidate, and they moved their office out of Peoria and consolidated a lot of local offices back into Phoenix. And it made it really difficult for our citizens because so many of the citizens that need this kind of help with housing or utility bills or whatever the need might be simply don't have the transportation resources to go downtown, and they don't have the self-confidence to call and talk to a stranger on the phone. And so this morning saw that department brought back to the community center where we've missed it terribly, and where I know that they will, that they'll reestablish those community partnerships, and a lot of good will come to our citizens here. So as I said to them this morning, welcome home. I believe that that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Leone?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just want to mention a couple of things, if I don't lose my voice again. I attended the West Valley Art Museum where they had exhibits, interesting exhibits. If you haven't been down to the West Valley Art Center, which is right downstairs in the lobby, just ask the security guy where it is and he'll show you. It's really interesting what people can do, what the artists can do with shoelaces and little rocks and big rocks and coat hangers. It's really tremendous. The reception was great, and there was a lot of artist people there, and I think you should go down there and visit it. It's quite interesting. I also was at the river cutting this morning with Vicki. I'm not going to say too much about it because Vicki already said it, but it's provided for the community-based service for citizens for food, utilities, and rent. So I think it's great that they're back, and if you need any help, that's where to go. I also like to mention that I want to congratulate the PPOA for getting that contract. I know it's not easy because I was involved getting contracts many years ago, and after you meet, you go home, you can't sleep, or you lose your hair, and that's why I don't have much hair. But anyway, I want to congratulate them, and I hope they're satisfied. The last thing I want to say is I want to congratulate Bill. I've known Bill for about, 19 years? And when I first met Bill, I had a problem in my subdivision, and the only guy I can get a hold of was Bill. He came down, he looked at it. A week later, it was completed. Bill is the kind of guy that if I need something, I call him. Within 24 hours or sooner, it's completed. Sometimes I'll try to find a department that can handle it, and if I can't get through, I call Bill, and the first thing he says, "Don't worry, Councilman, I'll take care of it." And believe it or not, he does. So I want to thank Bill for all the service. Maybe if the city manager gave more money, a manager's job, maybe he'll stick around. But anyway, congratulations, Bill, and have a great retirement. I know you're not going to retire. You're going to go to work someplace else. If you do, they'll be satisfied with your work. Thank you, and lots of luck to you. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America.
Thank you. Youth Council Liaison Camacho.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no reports tonight.
Okay, well, I can't resist. I have to say goodbye, Bill. I know that you've heard it from everybody, and there's probably nothing new under the sun, but I'll tell you, you are part of a great team here, and I don't know if we could have made it through the economic downturn without you. You were always steady and sure in every single way and everything that you touched. So, thank you. And with that, we are adjourned.